Hello! It's Saturday the 13th. We approach the Ides of January. The days are very slowly getting lighter here in the UK, although it is a pretty awful time of year. Anyway, I've got a little bit of a sample to try, a little bit more of a sample to try from a very good friend of mine who encouraged me to use this Ariana and Evans vanille tobacco. And I'll slap a bit of this on and I'll show you what I've been getting up to. I've honed 4 razors this morning, and one of them is a real experiment. I found that by accident I'd purchased a very nice early Puma. It was a Puma which, unfortunately, had I noticed, it had 2 cracks in the blade. So I thought, why not try and save it, make it an experiment, and also it'll teach me a little bit more about how to hone extreme smiling blades. So all these razors I honed this morning were on finally a coticle edge, and coticles are very strange creatures. They do seem, at least I've had a little bit of trouble. Of course, I'm not that experienced with a coticle. And coticles, when they work, they give you a very nice, kind shave, which is what I've done that on like a couple. I've had a couple which weren't that good, and I suspect it's because I came down my synthetic stones too quickly. I think you need to go from 3K, sort of 5K, 8K. So the others weren't. So let's see if I've got a result. Anyway, that's enough. That'll do. Okay. So if you want to see something silly, let's try this one. Now this was a normal straight-edged, very early Puma. This is in fact a Puma 21, or it was a Puma 21, on a Latte German Sohn. So this is one of the very early Pumas. So the steel quality is very high, but the cracks, just a cracked edge is useless. So let's see what can be done with an extreme curvy, very curvy blade. Dry fingers, very important. And let's see what happens with this one. I've got suspicions it'll probably work because, yeah, the centre of the blade actually honed up quite well. Yeah. And this is on a coticle edge. That's not too bad. And that's had a huge amount of steel removed, absolutely. Anyway. There's the usual, to me, slight resistance with a coticle shave. This is a little unfair. This is with an extreme edge, which, as you can see, is still taking the whiskers off quite well, actually. So let's say that one's a partial success. I can experiment with that at a later date. Let's try a more giant and nice blade. Now this is a crop. It's not quite a 7/8, and it's just over a 6/8. But crop of Sheffield, very high reputation, very nice, deep hollow. But this one, again, on a coticle. Let's see what happens. Oh my goodness me, listen to that. That is probably the most brittle sound I've heard in ages. This is over 3 days of stubble, so it is being quite noisy. But boy, is it cutting well. Old Sheffield steel does seem to be quite good stuff. is why so many German companies, razor companies, preferred it. Yeah, that's a kind, nice edge. So who knows, maybe I'm getting the hang of the coticle. The trick seems to be, don't go from a coarse stone to a coticle. Maybe 8K is the answer. I went from 8K to this. The other thing is lessons from other wonderful YouTubers out there, particularly Dapper Shaves. Hello, Jax. Jax brought up a very good point as well, which is, of course, the more you shave, the more muscle memory you build, until in the end, you don't need a mirror. You can actually shave without a mirror. My only argument against that, and it's not an argument against it, it's just that it would pay to stay to the same razor. And I keep chopping up razors. I go from tiny little 4/8 to bloody great big 1.5" 13/8. And I love them all. So I'm not going to change my ways, but I can shave without a mirror. Yeah, that is good. That is very, very good. So far, easily the crop is the best, which is no surprise. As the only thing I'd also add to the experts out there, which is, I have noticed when you come from the stones, to strop, I find you need far more laps after coming off a coticle. I think the coticle edge is, relatively speaking, I do stress relatively speaking, a coarse edge. I don't believe in studying it microscopically. I think it's a waste of time, quite honestly. I've had, not arguments, I've had people comment on previous shaves of mine. Ooh, what a nasty rough edge you've got. Ooh, you'll never be able to shave with that. Well, sorry chaps, but you can. It's the apex that counts. There's a little bit of roughness behind the apex. Don't make a lot of difference to me. Anyway, here's another experiment. Now this is a Hamburg Ring, which had a round nose. This was a round-nosed Hamburg Ring, and it ain't round anymore. This is a Hamburg Ring extra hollow ground. This is a EDA company. This is a Edeco. Anyway, forged, real hollow ground in Germany. This has still got its gold panel, but it had a messed up nose. So this one is now a square nose. Very popular, I believe, in America at that time of the century. So date-wise, no idea. Probably the classic period. Anywhere from, I don't know, 1920 to 1950. Apart from just dropping my soap on the floor, my little tiny sample piece of soap. It's going back in there. Let's try now, after drying fingers, always a good idea. Let's try how this fella with the square nose on a coticle edge, only just been honed by me. Let's see how this works. Again, of course I'm quite used to square nose. I'll do this one looking straight into the phone. Yeah, first rate. Yeah, absolutely first rate. Yeah. Not draggy, but not as smooth as with a high grade, what I call very high grade synthetic edge. But it's comfortable. No two ways about it. If my aftershave experience is as good as my shave experience, I'm coming down very much in favour of coticle edges. Of course, this is comfy. Gary always says he can tell a coticle edge on a shave, and I'm sure he's absolutely right. Gary says so, it is so. But this is good. Very, very good. It's slightly, very slightly tuggy in a nice sense because it's 3 days of stubble. And for those that complain that I don't have much stubble, it's because a lot of it's silver. And doesn't show. So far, I've got to give it to this one. This Hamburg Ring. It's a very, very slightly smaller blade. Very slightly smaller. It's a very generous 6/8. And I would say this Hamburg Ring, with its square nose, squared by me, with its squared nose, it was all in balance, by the by. The gold panel in the middle is exactly where it should be, in the middle. So there's been no loss of aesthetics. The aesthetics are still there. I'm just going to quickly run over it one more time because I love this. This is a really good razor. Yep. So, in conclusion, if you're going to do a coticle edge, be prepared to strop it a lot more than you would on a high synthetic edge. My synthetic edge is 12k, 20k, you don't need to strop them very much. All of this is purely subjective. But this is really, really nice shave. I've got to say, this is one of the more pleasant shaves recently. Though every shave is pleasant. Once you've been reasonably proficient at straight razors, every shave is a pleasure. And of course, it's 1,000 times better than any other form of shaving. Yeah, that's lovely. Oh, it's gone all quiet because I haven't got any stubble left. So, coticle, does it beat a synthetic edge? Not really beat it, but it's a comfortable edge. But I did have to go from bevel set on all of these, from bevel set 3k, 5k to 8k, all with slurry, then water, and then onto the coticle. And obviously the coticle was slurry and water. Anyway, it's 4 razors saved. And this one, I just can't put it down. The Hamburg Ring. And it rings. It's a very nice razor. Anyway, do you know what? That's BBS. I'm trying to, oh no, there's a little bit there. There's always a bit. If you wonder why I'm not using an awful lot of soap, it's because if you've got a really good edge, the residual smoothness, the residual sliminess, slickness is still there on the skin. And quite honestly, that's good enough for me. I'll never be an aficionado of scents and soaps. But that is, you don't need to be. I mean, that is gorgeous. Absolutely superb. Yep. It's still finding little areas of stubble, which is a very good sign of a good edge. And yet, in cutting them like this, absolutely no irritation at all. So I think we have a winner. Anyway, there you have it, chaps. I'm not going to rabbit on incessantly. What I would say is, for those who are experimenting, as I always do, this is my experimental channel. This is Martin's test shaves. That's what I do. Great success. Right, so that's that. Let's just do the usual little test of washing off any residual lather. And it is only residual, as you can see. So that's 3 days of stubble gone. Now this is a good test. Let's put the Allen block. As I suspected, I can't feel the Allen block. No, not a sting, no irritation at all. So a coticle edge on 4 different razors, progressing through synthetic to slurry coticle quite quickly. You need to spend a lot of time. So I did all 4 half a morning at the most. Went for a 3-mile walk first, just to warm up. It's about 2 degrees outside. And I don't like the cold. But anyway, that's absolute perfection. I'm going to put a little bit of splash on. This again is a Ariana and Evans, but not the same splash as matches the lather, but I don't care. Yeah. Oh, that's really nice smell as well. Anyway, not the most proficient shave I've ever done, but a very comfortable one. I'm going to leave you in peace now, chaps. Anybody new to my lunacy, please try and follow. Tell your friends. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.